Gentlemen, awesome to be back with you on MGTOW Money. Today's topic, I made about $160,000 in the first 90 days. Before I get into that, thanks to the ongoing support from the Patreon investors in this channel. Thank you guys, those members of the MGTOW Money army of supporters of this channel. Gentlemen, see the video description today. Right now, become a supporter of this channel. Also, check out the book recommendation in the description. It's an outstanding book. It applies to today's topic. Title of the book, Extraordinary Popular Delusions and the Madness of Crowds. Well done, sir. This is a classic book. Again, see the video description today. Also, I'm going to follow up on a suggestion, a piece of advice I've given multiple times to younger men. Younger men, listen up. Go click on the link. There's a news article in there. Headline, 17% of young home buyers 18 to 34, regret buying their home. Young men, I've repeatedly said, don't buy a home, especially if you are young. Do not buy a large tangible asset like that if you are a young person. I cannot stress enough, you will probably end up regretting it. I think the number's probably far higher than 17%. On to today's topic, I made about $160,000 in the first 90 days. Man, imagine this. You're in your mid to late 20s, and you go into this large auditorium of 500, 600, 700 people, and it's mostly men, and there's a buzz around, and they're well-dressed, and they're chit-chatting, and they all seem very well intelligent, etc. Anyway, so there you are, you're just immersed in it. And you sit through a presentation in this auditorium for about 90 minutes or so of well-spoken men, well-dressed, as well as they brought out a very attractive woman, and they're showing all these slides about how you, my friend, can make a lot of money very, very quickly and easily, and you can do it straight from your living room. You don't have to do anything, you don't have to carry an inventory, and you can have financial freedom at a very young age, etc. And you're thinking, wow, this is awesome. This is fantastic. And they're willing to reveal these secrets to you, for you, at that moment, at that time. However, there's a slight catch. In the back of the room, as they're directing you, literally, they're pointing, in the back of the room, men, just go there to the sign-up table. And by the way, make sure you got your checkbook or credit card, because you're going to sign up for their course. Well, of course, you got a small fee to pay. Now, by the way, this is years ago. When I say years ago, I'm talking decades ago when I attended this quote seminar, quote unquote. And I believe it was around $2,500. It might have been $3,000. And that was a relatively large amount of money at that time. So needless to say, there were crowds. I mean, people, men, again, especially, were lined up with their credit cards, with their checkbooks to buy this course. And the point that I'm trying to make is this course was all about, at that particular time, was all about, quote, internet marketing. Does that sound familiar to you, men? And in particular about how you too could set up an e-commerce website and all this type of thing, etc., and how money would just fall in from heaven, etc. Here's my point, men. Nothing has changed whatsoever. And the reason why I'm mentioning this, again, I'm going to include a link to a video, and this is a link to a, quote, business opportunity that was recommended by this particular man who I used to, past tense, have a great deal of respect for, on how to make, quote unquote, at least how this person made, about $160,000 in the first 90 days. In my opinion, men, this opportunity, quote unquote, is a total scam. It's a fraud, in my opinion. So let me be clear. Let's break through some elements of what I think are scam-like relative to this presentation on making a lot of money, and how you can apply the same thing to when you see opportunities like this around you. One, most importantly, think, does this sound realistic? Does this sound even possible? I'm leaving aside the realm of possibility. I'm just saying the probability. What do you think the probability of, quote, a woman in her late 60s working from home is going to make quote unquote, $160,000 in 90 days? I'm not saying it's impossible. I did not say that. However, what do you think the possibility is? Yeah, I know it sounds great, and who doesn't want to do that, of course. But the point is, immediately ask yourself, whenever you're getting sucked into one of these scams, and I have been sucked into numerous of these scams through the years, ask yourself, in the light of day, does this sound realistic? Very simple question. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And I constantly have to reinforce that to myself, as you probably need to do to yourself. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. 2, if it works so well, if this business opportunity is so outstanding, so incredibly profitable, why are these people selling these, quote, secrets? Why are they selling this opportunity? Coca-Cola, for example, for 100 years has been very protective of their quote unquote secret formula. The point is that if you're making a lot of money in a particular business venture, you're probably not out telling other people about it, or at least you're not going into great detail about it. You might say, yeah, I got a business and it's successful, but that's about as far as you're going to go. The last thing that you're looking to do is invite competition. Men, what I'm trying to tell you is, generally speaking, let's just say 80% of the time, when somebody's trying to sell you based upon talking about financial freedom, talking about ideas about you're going to have an expensive house, a fleet of cars, go on tremendous vacations, etc., most of the time, those guys are selling you a dream. They're not selling you a business. They're selling you a dream. If you're not interested in blowing your money on hopes, dreams, and wishes, and you don't necessarily want to start a business, or even if you do, why don't you join up and be a partner in a business, buy a dividend-paying stock? I've talked about that enough. All right, the next point that you're going to look for when you're looking at scams is, could I get the same information, or around about the same information, probably cheaper and easier somewhere else? It goes without saying, men, you've got access to Google. There's a ton of free information out there. And inevitably, the seller would say, well, hey, our information is more organized, it's collated, etc. Cool, I get all that, and I understand. However, a lot of running a business, I can tell you as a factual statement, based upon my experience, based upon talking to many other men, is that it's trial and error. It's just guesswork. Some things work, some things don't. You just got to get your hands dirty. It's tinkering. It's experimenting. It's like you're trying to build something, and sometimes this thing will work and probably it won't. So you try something else. The point is, men, if you really want this information, you need to start seeking it out and get it from bits and pieces from various sources. Let me finish by saying, again, go to that link. You can prove me I'm wrong. You can tell me I'm wrong. You can go listen to the video yourself. That's nearly 2 hours long. And oh, by the way, you're going to look at the catch. They're going to, quote, give you $32,000 worth of information for, guess what? The wonderful magical price of, because these guys are so kind, $2,499. Yes, sir. For your small investment of $2,499, they're going to reveal all their secrets to you. Finishing. I know that some of you have very successful businesses, and I would like your opinion. Leave your opinion in the comments. Is this a terrific opportunity that I'm simply missing out on, that all of us should be jumping on, that we can all make $160,000 in the first 90 days. Even if we make $16,000 in the first 90 days, I'm all for it. I'm more than happy to share it. But my point is, men, I don't think it is, and I think you need to consider the 3 things that I've talked about in detecting these scams that are far too common on the internet, and I have seen with my own eyes among my own friends where it has eventually cost them their financial freedom because they got stuck in these horrible scams, dreams that never come to fruition. Gentlemen, as always, hit the like button if you found this profitable and hopefully enlightening. As always, John Galt out.